So, hey, did you know December 11th is International Mountain Day? You know, it's probably not a day you've got circled on your calendar, right? But it's celebrating something that is, and I mean this, absolutely fundamental to life on our planet. So let's dig into why these silent giants matter, like really matter.
When you think of a mountain, what comes to mind? Probably this majestic, beautiful view, right? The perfect backdrop for a photo. But what if I told you they're actually these active, working systems that are literally keeping our world alive? Yeah, their value goes so much deeper than just a pretty picture, and we're about to find out just how deep that goes.
All right, let's just jump right in with a pretty bold claim. Mountains are the source of life for the entire world. I know, that sounds like a huge overstatement, doesn't it? But stick with me. When you really think about where most of our fresh water comes from, or where countless species hide out, yeah, you start to realize it's not an exaggeration at all.
So try to picture mountains not just as these huge, static chunks of rock. Instead, think of them like the heart of our planet's circulatory system. Seriously, they're these powerful, life-giving engines, constantly pumping vital resources down to the rest of us.
Okay, so how exactly are they a source of life? Well, for starters, they're basically the world's water towers. They give over half of all people their fresh water. That's huge. Plus, they're major biodiversity hotspots, home to something like a quarter of all life on land. And this is so important. They're also the ancestral homes for so many indigenous communities who have generations of knowledge about how to live in balance with nature.
You know, for centuries, the relationship was pretty simple. Mountains protected us. They were like this giant shield, giving us resources and keeping things stable. But now, well, that shield is cracking. The guardians of our planet are suddenly the vulnerable ones. And tragically, the roles have completely flipped. Now they need us to protect them.
So what's putting them in danger? What exactly is threatening these incredibly vital ecosystems? Let's take a closer look at the pressures that are putting these peaks and everything they give us at risk. Okay, the pressure is really coming from three main directions. First up, climate change. It's melting these ancient glaciers way faster than it should. At the same time, we've got deforestation, which is just stripping away the forests that act like a giant sponge for rain. That leads to massive erosion. And then there's the relentless digging for minerals and other resources, just scarring these beautiful landscapes, sometimes forever.
And look, these threats aren't just some abstract idea on a chart. They have very real consequences. As the glaciers melt, the water supply for billions, yes, billions of people downstream becomes totally unpredictable. You get floods one minute, droughts the next. Amazing species like the snow leopard or super rare alpine flowers are losing their homes. And the people, the communities who've lived there for generations, they're facing a future that's completely up in the air.
But hey, this isn't just a story about doom and gloom. It doesn't end with the threats. This is where the story pivots to solutions. Because even with all the damage, there is a clear path forward. And the best part? It's a path where every single one of us has a role to play in protecting these places. The message here is really simple. Just knowing about the problem isn't enough. Understanding it is a great first step for sure, but it's what we do that's going to decide the future of our mountains. Plain and simple, it's time to act. So, what does acting even look like? Well, for one, it starts with actively protecting the ecosystems up there through real conservation efforts. It also means when we visit, we support sustainable tourism, the kind that actually helps local communities and doesn't trash the place.
And of course, it means managing the forest in a sustainable way, making sure they can keep protecting the soil and water for our kids and their kids.
I want you to just let this one sink in for a second. When mountains are protected, human life is also protected. See, this is so much bigger than just saving a pretty landscape. We're talking about securing our own water, our food, our climate. The health of our mountains and the well-being of every person on Earth are completely 100% linked.
For literally thousands of years, mountains have been our silent guardians. They've given us, well, pretty much everything. And now, the roles have totally reversed. It's our turn to be the guardians. So really, the only question left is, how are you going to answer that call?
Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully useful. Don't forget to like and subscribe.